what inspired you to get into acting?
What matters is the story and how you craft it.
You've answered a lot of the questions already with that one answer, so that's fine.
You need a showreel and you need headshots as at a bare minimum, you know. So I mean, for me, the way I built my showreel, the first thing I did was a short film, and in London, and I was actually very fortunate because the short film was it was like about a cloning company. So I played multiple characters within this short film. So in one scene, I'm like a CEO, you know, with all this commanding presence, and the next scene, I'm like the receptionist who's like just taking orders, and then another scene, I'm a worker that's like running all throughout London, which was great, you know, because I get to shoot stuff on London Bridge and, you know, just around London. So I got a bit of showreel material just from that one thing.
Please subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on your favourite podcasting platform. Thank you.
Hi there, welcome to Film Forums. My name is Aiysha Jebali and I have with me a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Derek Siow. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I live in London and I'm an actor.
What was the turning point for you in becoming pro?
I started doing like little things like short films, like especially in London, you know, we've got a really good, there's just so much stuff gets made, you know, like just short films, indie films. There were a lot of commercials that you could go for. I mean, commercials, like literally anyone could go for it. Like from all over, anything they shot around Europe, you know, they would cast out of London. And you know, and when I say everyone, I mean like everyone. Like you get to a casting, there's like 100 people there, and you've got like a 0.01% chance of getting it or something. But you know, yeah, and I just started doing that kind of thing, and yeah, it just went from there.
Awesome. So what kind of advice would you give to someone who, you know, is looking to go pro with their acting?
You know, just if it's something that you want to do, then yeah, just stick with it. You know, persistence is the key with this. You know, it really is. You know, and it's if it's something that you love to do, then yeah, then just stick at it. Really, yeah, just remember why you're doing it, because you know it's something that you love to do. You know. I hope you love to do it, you know.
Well, we shouldn't really be here if we didn't, right?
Yeah, if you didn't love it, I don't know why you would do it. It's like the worst thing to do if you didn't love it. But
yeah, living as a broke actor is definitely not something you would do if you didn't love it. You know,
yeah.
If you didn't love the craft. But what kind of practical things, though, would you say? For example, say someone who has, you know, quite a bit of, you know, live performance experience, maybe some theatre, some panto and stuff like that, and they're looking to get into film. Obviously, for a lot of things, you need to send a showreel. How did you manage to get, you know, footage together for a showreel, or how did you manage to get in regardless without having one?
I think when it comes to acting, you need a showreel. The showreel is your body of work thus far. Do you know what I mean? You need a showreel and you need headshots as at a bare minimum, you know. So I mean, for me, the way I built my showreel, the first thing I did was a short film, and in London, and I was actually very fortunate because the short film was it was like about a cloning company. So I played multiple characters within this short film. So in one scene, I'm like a CEO, you know, with all this commanding presence, and the next scene, I'm like the receptionist who's like just taking orders, and then another scene, I'm a worker that's like running all throughout London, which was great, you know, because I get to shoot stuff on London Bridge and, you know, just around London. So I got a bit of showreel material just from that one thing, but just throughout, you know, that period, just whatever I was doing, it all adds up and it all builds up, and that's what you really need.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I think it's great that you got a part where you were able to show your different types, because in acting, types is everything, isn't it? Initially, like until you've proven yourself, people kind of decide what they think you are, if you know what I mean. Would you say that you go with your types, or do you try to challenge them at the moment?
You know, it's actually really tricky, right? Because when you start out, you do need to focus, right? And or have some sort of focus, right? Because casting directors will come to you and they want to know, okay, I want someone like this. Oh, there's that guy, because he, you know, so they kind of want to know know what your strengths are or what you've had experience doing. Do you know what I mean? So in that sense, it's as an actor, we want to play different characters, right? We want to look different in every, like, a lot of my stuff, I look really different in each thing. I portray different characters, but I don't know whether that does me any favors, or did me any favors at the start, because then they couldn't pigeonhole me, for lack of a better word, into what they were looking for, something specific, but then I started to just book roles, military stuff, police stuff, CIA, all these kind of, or like a military hacker, these kind of things. And then it started to, even though I could do all these things, where it's like, okay, whenever we're looking for projects for that, this is the guy we go for, And so I think it is important to start as early as you can to just try and figure out who you are as an actor, which is easier said than done. It takes years. Some people are still going through it, and and try and get as much material as you can for that area, and then later you might be able to branch out and do other things. But at the start, it's important to figure out something.
Yeah, no, I think that's excellent advice, to be honest. I completely agree with you. I'm also in acting as well, so I was also kind of at the beginning for a few years. I was always cast as a horror kind of female victim, of some kind. You know what I mean? And like, on one hand, I get it, because I'm like small and petite and look innocent or whatnot, but at the same time I have like a heavy martial arts background, and I was like, I really want to just have a role where I can kick ass, you know what I mean? So sometimes you can be a bit torn in terms of, like, what you really want to do, and then what people see you as, so it's quite nice to hear how you played to that strength regardless, you know what I mean? And now you're obviously branching out as well, which is really good.
I mean, it is good, because I wouldn't even though people see you as one way, and if you want to do something, I would go with what you want to do, because like I loved that stuff. Like I said, I grew up in the 80s, so it was all like Arnie, Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, was all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I loved shooting guns and cops and robbers. I played all that stuff. I had a toy machine gun that I would run around with, and and then later in life I'd be on the film set carrying a real one. So it's and so I actually do enjoy doing that stuff. I'd love to do a whole range of other stuff. I don't just want to do that, but I do enjoy doing it.
Yeah, no, totally. In terms of getting an agent, what was that process like for you?
At the time, I actually wasn't even really looking, to be honest. Like I was focusing on building up showreel material. It wasn't like I didn't know if I was ready, or I didn't, it wasn't like it was something that I was really focused on doing. But I was doing this presenting gig with this brilliant actress, Stacey Fan. She's a brilliant actress, a great presenter. She writes for Harper's Bazaar now. She makes movies. She's in LA, and I did this presenting gig with her, and her agent at the time saw my showreel, and then next thing you know, I had a meeting with him, and then he just started putting me up for stuff. And that's how that went.
Yeah, so you didn't do the whole submissions process then. That's cool.
No, I didn't even know. I wouldn't have known where to start, to be honest with you, because it's just I wouldn't know. And then I've just been with him ever since, and I've just stuck with him.
In terms of what you kind of want to do next, in developing and things like that, where do you see yourself going?
I'm nowhere near where I want to be, to be honest. There's so much more I want to do, so many more roles and characters that I want to play. It's really just as the industry evolves, hopefully there's more bigger and better opportunities, and just in terms of creating stuff, I think it just helps as to be an actor to create as well. I know that for me, when I'm not acting, I'm writing. And I've been writing for about 5 years now. And that's just because like I've just seen so many scripts, like they always like, and I'm fortunate enough, I'm lucky enough that I get to see scripts that are green lit before a lot of other people, because I'm reading for certain roles of that. So I've gotten used to how just structure, or the way things are written, or page numbers, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just I've just been exposed to that, and I love creating, like, characters, scenes, storylines. I love doing that stuff. So, and I think that does help with the acting. I really do, like, just in terms of understanding your character and motivations, and the purpose of the scene, and what you're trying to, the beats that you're trying to hear, and all that stuff. I think it really does go hand in hand. So I encourage everybody to get involved into writing and creating, or doing whatever. I think as actors, a lot of us got into it because we wanted to create and tell stories.
No, I completely agree with you. I also write too. So that was actually going to be my next kind of line of questioning, because obviously you said that you're into music and things like that. I wanted to know, what other creative endeavors you have going on, because I find more and more that creatives don't just do one thing. We like to have a finger in a lot of pies, you know what I mean? So it's cool. Have you got anything that you're thinking about producing in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, I've written a whole bunch of scripts. I've got feature films, I've got TV shows, comedies, sci-fi, drama, so biopics, and so yeah, obviously I would love to produce that stuff one day. I've been in this, for a little bit. I understand these things take time. They can take years to get off the ground, So I understand. These things take time.
How do you handle rejection?
I think earlier in my career that was more of a thing. Now it's just happened so much that I don't even. Do you know what I mean? Like earlier in my career, yeah, like if I'd miss out on something really big or something that I really wanted, I would be a little bit bummed. But I've noticed that even though when you miss out on things, they can lead on to other things, and I have seen it happen. It has happened to me. So I don't see anything as I don't see any missed opportunities as something that it was for nothing. Do you know what I mean? I say that for me, for example, for when I do auditions, or even if I book a role, I put a lot of time into prep. Like I spent a lot of time into just preparing for that role, preparing for that character, preparing for the scene. I love to over prepare, or I just over prepare. It's just what I do, and so even if it doesn't go your way, it all amounts to something. Do you know what I mean? It all adds up to the lessons that you learn going forward. So nothing's ever wasted.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. I asked this question as well, to some other actors, and all of you have had different answers, which is really interesting. For me, I kind of just see like a no as just, okay, on to the next one kind of thing. Like I don't really harbor it, if you know what I mean. I'm like, okay, well then somebody else was the right person for that role and it wasn't me. And I'm okay with that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be perfect for every role. And so I think it's because I come from like a sales background that I'm kind of more in the numbers, if you know what I mean, in the sense that there will be a lot of no's, but for the yes, it'll be worth it. You know what I mean? So it's always interesting to hear other people's perspective. And definitely I agree with what you say about the no not being necessarily the end. They could call you in for something else because they've seen you. They now know who you are. And also you've learned something from the experience as well in the character development. So it's good to hear that you have a really positive outlook on rejection as a whole, because it can really get some people down,
Yeah, and that's some good advice, actually. Like what you just said, I think to be positive and stay positive is a very important thing in what we do, because there's a lot of opportunities where you can go the other way, and if you don't stay positive or be positive, then this stuff can weigh down on you. But you just gotta like what you said, it was just meant for somebody else, and if you'd booked that, maybe you wouldn't have booked something else that is just around the corner that you really did want, or would have been an even better opportunity. So
thank you so much for your time and for coming on and sharing your experience with our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Please subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on your favorite podcasting platform. Thank you.